Attention all coaches, service providers, and online program creators. You are probably leaving money on the table when it comes to your podcasting business, and I'm going to help you uncover those missed opportunities. Get signed up for a free podcast profit potential discovery call today by going to www.podcastingbusiness.school. That's podcastingbusiness.school. What's up, Pod Pals? It's your buddy Adam, and you are listening to Podcasting Business School, the show where I teach podcasters how to love their podcast like a hobby and build it like a business. We got a podcast audit going down today. I got my pod pal, Cy, from the Dating Done Right podcast. Cy, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
All right, let's dig in and kick it off by setting a goal. I want to know, 6 months from today, if you and I just sit down, we're going to have a conversation like this. Things have gone really well between now and then. What might that look like?
I mean, I like to dream big and go hard on my goals. So I'm shooting for 1,000 downloads. I'd love to grow my email list and monetize my podcast.
Okay. Outstanding. Great goals. What do you think might be one or two things that are kind of keeping you from achieving those goals right now?
I think one of them definitely is just promoting the podcast, getting more ears listening to the podcast is definitely a challenge. I implemented some of the, I've been listening to your podcast for months now. So I've made some SEO changes and I'm seeing that growth happen. So like on average, I get about, 85 to let's say 110 downloads per episode if you look at it the last 30 days. But just promoting the podcast. And then B, making sure that the content that I'm creating is exciting and relevant and gets people to listen.
Yeah. So great. I think you got great goals. Just reviewing like your website and your business platform and your show and your offers. You got serious potential with this thing. Like it's really, you're one of those people where I'm like, she's 5%. She's like that little nudge away from just everything meshing. And all of a sudden you've got this beast of an online brand that's just going crazy with it, with your show and everything kind of at the center of the ecosystem. So who's the ideal listener for your show? Describe that avatar for me.
Oh my gosh, she is a boss babe. Okay. So my ideal clients are single women, high achieving women that are successful in their careers, have that, growth mindset, wellness, health, financial security, and they just want to find their person. They want love. They want to be loved. That's the woman that I'm talking to. Okay.
And as far as the content of your show, can you describe what types of episodes we're doing? Are we doing solos? Are we doing any coaching? Are we doing interviews, a little mix? What's that look like?
Yes, it's been a journey. So to answer your question directly, I just launched my first coaching style podcast on Friday.
Love it.
And it's doing okay considering I've only literally promoted it one time. So again, I know promotion is a problem for me. So that's been fun. I'm trying to figure out ways to get more people to sign up for the audit. So I'm doing that. But I would say about like 80 to 90% of my podcasts are solo episodes. On occasion, maybe once a quarter, I might have a guest, but it's mostly me talking.
Okay. I love that because I know you're a service provider and you're looking to get clients from your show. So I think strong solo episodes, showing off what you do on hot button topics. I think the coaching style episodes are going to be money for you. I think they're going to be so good. So how did that first one go? And like, what ideas do you have around the coaching episode so far?
So I've recorded 5 already.
Good.
I went live, right? Or whatever, launched the first dating strategy audit last Friday. I've got 4 more in the works. I think the one thing I'm struggling with is like how to structure those audits. Because I feel like because of the topic I'm talking about, it's feelings and strategy and tactics. And so I want to be mindful of like, A, obviously I want to help the people on the call, but be smart about like what we're talking about so that it entices other people to book the call and potentially work with me.
Okay. So this is a really common thing. And, congrats, like great start pulling 5 people in immediately out of your audience. That's really, really good.
They're my current clients and they were happy to do it. So let's go.
This is great. And that's a great way to start off is with people that are already working with you. That way it kind of has a built-in testimonial as well. Mm-hmm. So I think it's really important that overall time barrier is 30 minutes or less, because if we go over 30 minutes, people should be paying you. But really try to think about once you get to non-clients. So you're releasing these episodes and listeners are just popping in. You've never met them before, never worked with them before. They're not paying you. Then things kind of go a little different level. And you want to think about, all right, I want to push over 1 or 2 dominoes here and create some momentum that they can feel. And then that's the appetizer. And then if it makes sense, we work together, they go out and experiment with that. They come back and go, okay, I actually need your help. So like with me, like I talked to somebody a few months back about doing lead magnets, and I gave them a lot of tips. I said, try this, try that. They went out and tried this and that. And they go, hey, it worked okay, but I really think it'd be better if you helped me build it out yourself. So then we work together. Sometimes it's an immediate thing. Sometimes it's a down the road thing. But I would really try to kind of go, we need to go 1 or 2 layers deep and really focus on one area. So maybe, my God, I'm just totally guessing here, but like being socially awkward, or they haven't been on a date in 5 years, right, or wardrobe or personal confidence. Like pick a lane that you think you need to operate in, that you'll be able to create real momentum with, and go deep instead of wide, because it's really tempting.
Like I know that's what I did. I did that for the last 5 episodes. And as now I'm scheduling them, I'm like, what the hell is the title of this? I don't even know, because I covered so many things.
All things dating with Cy. Yeah. Yeah. And that's, that's live and learn. Like you and I could sit and talk about everything online business platform. We could talk about so many things, and today we're really going to, pin our ears back and talk about download growth and things like that. But when you're doing this type of an episode, it will help to go, okay, this is really the low-hanging fruit that we need to focus on, and let's dig down into that and get that dialed in and get their confidence built up around that. And then you have, like you said, the title of the episode is very apparent, but also don't feel bad if we're repeating topics here. All right. Like I talk about download growth, monetization, online business building stuff. It's very similar topics in my podcast audits over and over. Talk a lot about naming and rebranding and branding, lots and lots and lots. And every single time it's just from a different perspective. Maybe that person is just getting started, or maybe they got 500 episodes. Maybe they have an online business. Maybe they don't. Maybe, so it's a little bit of a different perspective each time, different niche, different topic. So somebody out there listening, it's going to apply to them. And some people are like, I've heard this already. I'm going to listen to another episode. But don't feel bad about that, because the main thing is we want to show you off and coach and coach and coach, so that 3 years down the road, you've got hundreds of these episodes out there. And when people find you and like, oh my God, I listened to her coach, and the questions that her people are asking, those are the questions that I have. And they see your personality as a coach. Like for people listening in, when you hire me as a coach, I am exactly how I am right here. Like this is me coaching, whether Cy pays me or not. This is me coaching Cy. This is how I am. So people get to kind of taste test that a little bit. And some people will really vibe with that. Like, wow, this is the woman that I need guiding me on this adventure. And those people kind of take that step forward. That makes sense?
Totally makes sense. I love it.
Okay. I got a pretty good feel on your avatar. You mentioned promotion a couple of times. I want to talk on that a little bit. But I want to start with organic discoverability. You got the word dating in the very first word in the name of your show. Now, do you have it listed as dating done right? So dating is the first word. Okay.
Yes. I've rebranded this podcast 3 times, and I just rebranded it probably 2 or 3 months ago. So it's dating done right, and then dash or whatever, get confident, have fun, attract quality men.
Yeah.
And then 3 weeks ago, I updated my cover art, because I was searching on Apple for my podcast. First of all, it comes up on the first page. You just have to scroll a couple of times. I'm like, yes, I made it. Amazing. But then I looked at the cover art. I'm like, no one can read what the hell this is.
Good call.
So I updated it. I took your advice. I was listening to one of your audits. I was like, oh, I need to do this. So I think it's working.
Good.
I just want it to work faster.
We all do. Now, one thing that I would really dig in with your clients, especially since you've got a group of clients that are loving your services, I would kind of reverse engineer their connection to you a little bit and go, hey, if you hadn't met me yet and you were looking for a show like mine, what are you going to put in to Apple and Spotify? I I'd be interested to see what they say. Obviously, dating is
Mhm.
there, but there may be, and you may already know this, like there may be like a secondary term or phrase that we need to start incorporating. Maybe it's in the title extension, maybe it's in the episode or the host description, maybe it's in episode titles, but let's farm that a little bit. And because there may, you know, single men, single women, do we need to have that type of verbiage in there? Are they
Mhm.
searching those types of words? And just always ask that, because we can always add to this. And the cool thing about having a title extension is that we don't have to announce it if we change it. It's not like a rebrand where you have to
Right.
like explain it. You just update it. I've updated my podcasting business school so often that I don't even remember what it is right now. And I don't, nobody even says anything like you swapped out the word business for entrepreneur or whatever in the title extension. So that's something you could experiment with every 90 days and swap a few words. Let's see what happens. Let's tweak this, tweak that. And do you have to change the art? Not necessarily. Like if you got a real winner, like, wow, I put helping single women find quality men or something like that. And all of a sudden it starts ripping. Okay. And that's a candidate to put on the
Mhm.
art and update that a little bit. But again, that doesn't need to be announced in any way if you're just swapping out a few words there and everything else kind of looks the same. So I think that's going to be quality time spent farming and looking at that keyword bank. Because for my brand, once I figured out, I talked to enough podcasters that found me via my show. They were searching podcasting tips or podcast about podcasting.
Mhm.
So when I started putting podcasting tips everywhere on my brand, including my title extension, it just, 10x things. So
Okay.
that's when things really started to rip a little bit. So all that making sense?
It totally makes sense.
And then, we get those words that we hone in and on. Okay, that's got to go in the host description. That's got to go in my episode titles. I try to put podcasting tips in almost every single title of my show because people are searching podcasting tips more than anything. And it made me so happy at PodFest this year when Rob from Libsyn is up there doing his discoverability thing, his spiel, and he searches podcasting tips, and my show pulls up first. I had so many people in the audience that were like screenshotting it and texting
Congrats.
me.
That's awesome.
I was in a different room, and they're like, "Your show is up there the whole time, man." So I was like, "That's awesome. That's proof." So getting that
Nicely
organic
done.
discoverability, that's important because site is so nice. Not only when you're ideal listeners, but ideal listeners that become clients, they find you because of some word you put in your title extension. It's just magical, and it's not
Mhm.
effort-based marketing, which we're about
Yeah.
ready to get into. It's
Yeah, I'm thinking
one
about
and
this
done.
have fun. Maybe like that one can go for something else. Like could be like online dating or something like that.
Online dating, yeah, or even like mentioning some kind of dating app thing. Like, what are they?
Yeah.
What tools can we kind of fish in tangentially that are topics that are related that may be searched by your ideal listeners? So I think a little bit of time invested in talking to your clients, talking. If any listeners reach out, I'd have like a little Google form that's like 2 or 3 questions, easy to fill out, and be like, "Hey, could you fill this out for me real quick?" Usually people DM me on Instagram with a question. I'll answer it. And I'll go, "Hey, could you fill this thing out for me real quick? I'd like to learn about my listeners." And one of the questions will be like, "Hey, were you searching on Apple and Spotify? If yes, what were you searching for?" And they'll ask questions like, "What topic would you love for me to cover?" A lot of times they'll pitch a topic out there. I'm like, "Oh, I've got 5 episodes on this. Here are all the links." And I'll just send them to them. And they're like, "Oh, this is awesome. You're my podcast hero." And now they're binge listening on more episodes, which we love. But yeah, reaching out to them, making that interaction happen, kind of farming for ideas. That'll be good use of your time. Um, let's talk about your promo. So a new episode
Mhm.
goes live. What do we do? How are we telling people about it?
I dread it. Let's start there. I mean, I'm excited to create the content. I have a hate relationship with social media. I have like a decently sized audience, but I'm just like, oh, I don't want to do it. And so, did I release an episode today? Absolutely. Every Tuesday, Friday. Did I promote it yet? Absolutely not. So, like, I know this is such a block for me. So, ideally, what I was doing was okay, I'm on Instagram, I'll do a post there. I'm on TikTok, I'll do like a video there. And then on Fridays, I have a newsletter where I'll link both of the episodes for the week. And then I'm like, I won in life. Like I did 3 things, but I also know because I've downloaded your growth chart, like that is not enough.
Well, It could be, but I think we could optimize a little bit. And honestly, I'm on kind of I'm not a huge fan of social media bandwagon myself, but I'm always looking for opportunities. I'm like, where is it fun? What would it look like if it were fun? And one of the things that I love is going live and just interacting with people, like what we're doing here, but on
Mhm.
like Instagram. So, like, what if on Tuesday nights or Tuesday afternoons or whatever is convenient for you, you're like, hey, for the next 6 weeks, I'm going to experiment and go live on Tuesdays. And I'm going to invite listeners to pop in, either like come on the screen or do Q&A. I would really try to get people up on screen with you because that's very beneficial on Instagram. And just do, you'd have to kind of guide the conversation. Like, is it a Q&A where they're able to ask you a question directly and you kind of talk as a dating coach? Or, are you going to talk about the topic of the episode, especially if it's like a solo episode? Like,
Mhm.
bring me your questions about topic of solo episode. And then I would just use that opportunity to shout out your most recent episode. And so as you're going live and they're doing Q&A, I'm like, don't forget this week's episode just dropped. It's about blah, blah, blah. Go and find it on link in the bio or wherever. Kind of do a little commercial call to action as you're interacting with people live. So when I would do this with solo episodes, if I had like 5 tips about something, I would take 1 or 2 of those tips and I would go live and kind of break them down a little bit further and,
Mhm.
have an image on my phone that I would share and be like, here's the chart or whatever it is, the little visual, and take questions from the audience and just kind of constant reminders, tossing back. Hey, if you like this, you'll love the episode. If you like this, you'll love the episode. I mean, how do you feel about going live? Do you enjoy interacting in that live space like that, or
Yeah,
not so much?
that's fine. That's really fine. It's just I can't get people to like join me live, right? Because the algorithm at this point, it thinks I'm flaky, which I am. So I don't think it notifies people I'm going live.
Well, I think then I would really lean into that, pulling people up on screen.
Okay.
So I've done this before. I've got a format that could work for you. So, and right now it's like do as I say, not as I do. Because right now I'm coaching 7th grade basketball. So all my live streaming has just gone to complete hell because I'm coaching 7th grade basketball at night and we have games and it's during the week and it's crazy. So, but once that's going to be done at the end of the month, I'll get back into my live streaming pattern. So I used to do this show called Around the Pod, and I would invite 3 podcasters and they had to opt into my email list and sign up in advance and confirm that they will show up and come on screen with me on Instagram. So on Instagram, you can have 4 people live at the same time. It's like a little Foursquare. And that actually helps the algorithm because it sees all 4 of you as being live and it sends push notifications in all 4 directions every 10 minutes that you're live. So they're confirming, they're opting into my email list. I have them fill out questions like what pain point are you dealing with? What kind of topics do you want to deal with? And I ran it like a little podcast or talk show. So I was like, all right, round 1, everybody go through and introduce yourself and tell me how many episodes you've released. Then round 2, what's your podcasting question of the week? And we kind of discuss it and jam out on it. And then round 3 was like a podcast recommendation or something. I had like a little format. So you could have like this little dating talk show. So maybe you kind of
That
make it
sounds fun. I
you make
like
it fun.
that.
Yeah, you make
Yeah.
it fun. So like maybe the first round is like, how long have you been single for? Or how long has it been? Like ask like intriguing questions. How long has it been since your last date? Then the second round, in 60 seconds or less, tell us your worst date recap or something like the epic fail date, like funny stuff. So one of the things
Yeah.
that really people enjoyed with Around the Pod is we do a 4th round where I made everybody use an Instagram filter on their face. So like, and a lot of these people have never done filter before. So we got like Yoda face and
That's cute.
like all these unicorn head and all this stuff that's like nobody knows what's happening. We break it half the time, but yeah, make it fun. And then, but have like one section where they can kick a real question at and you deliver. But as you're doing it, you're shouting out this week's episode, like little mini micro commercials. With live streaming, it's not like a podcast episode where people consume that content front to end. They're popping in and out. They may be like 7 minutes in. So about every 5 minutes, I would shout out this week's episode, and maybe that question that you ask them, or one of the questions, is related to this week's episode. So it's kind of like our topic of the week is whatever. And we talked about this in this week's episode. Make sure you check it out. It's episode blah, blah, blah of the Dating Done Right podcast. All right. So let's pose this question to you all. What is blah, blah, blah? And you kind of go around and you discuss it. And every 10 minutes that you're live, push notifications are going out in all 4 directions. So you're going to see people popping in that are not your followers, and you'll start picking them up. And so another call to action is like, hey, make sure you follow us if you want more weekly dating tips. If you want to be a guest on the next week's show, our live stream, go to blah, blah, blah website, get signed up and grab a spot. They fill up quickly, but just get a regular day and time so people know that if they just want to watch it, they can show up at the regular day and time. They know it's kind of fun and entertaining and funny with the worst epic fail dating stories, or maybe you can have people vote. Like, that's how you get people to comment, right? You go, all right,
yeah, it's really cute.
We're gonna go through and put a 1, a 2, or a 3 in for whichever person who had the worst epic fail dating, and I'm going to give them an extra 15 minutes of dating coaching or something like that. And like that way they're commenting and doing that whole thing. I think you could really shine in that. I think it would get audience engagement going. And it's a really easy way for you to promote that episode, because that's like one of the questions. That's one of the topics. So thoughts on that?
I think it's fun. I've always wanted my own dating talk show. So
Yeah.
this is really great. And I'm also thinking about saving some of that content as maybe like a podcast episode. So it's not just like done, you know?
Yeah. And you can promote it on the show. Like, hey, if you guys want to interact with me, we've got the new Dating Done Right live stream on Instagram every Tuesday at whatever time. And, you know, again, it's building your email list. Like, so the way that works is like I use Calendly for my scheduling. So I built an opt-in page. They submit their information there, hit send, and then the next screen has my calendar on it. So they can then pick a time to schedule.
Okay.
You want to make sure you have available times. That always sucks when they give you your email address and then they're like, there are no times available, jerk. Unsubscribe. So I've had that happen. I've learned that lesson. So we want to make sure we have, you know, a few. I'd book like 2 or 3 in advance. Always make sure there's one that's open if you're going to mention on the show and have some promotion going. But I feel like that could kind of glue it together a little bit. That's going to give you 2 or 3, 4 pretty solid promotional assets. What does like email marketing look like right now? Did you say you have a newsletter going?
Yeah, I have a newsletter that goes out every Friday. And by every Friday, I mean, I was emailing my email list like a couple times a week, and I couldn't sustain it. I don't think they were getting a lot of value out of it because I was just trying to sell them stuff like 3 times a week. So 3 weeks ago, I pivoted to weekly Friday newsletter. I have about 950 people on my email list, with about like 30% open rate.
Good.
Maybe like 1 to 2% click-through rate, which I want to work on, right? I want to like make sure it's valuable for them so they're clicking through. But yeah, that's where I'm at, but I'd love to grow that more.
Yeah. And I think, you know, what works for me could work for you in this space where like I actually view my Thursday newsletter. I kind of mentally view it as a love letter to my audience. Like I'm going to sit down, I'm going to write this. What does my audience need to hear based off of the topic of the week? How do I want to communicate that? I just sit down and just brain dump and hit send in the moment. So adding a little bit of that real factor when it comes to email marketing, that stands out because everybody's using AI for everything. And it's just like a bot just communicated with me. Who cares? But like when I timestamp it and go, this email was lovingly curated on Thursday at 9:51 a.m. I just finished, cleaning up the kitchen after breakfast with my kids or whatever. Like I really put them in the moment. I just wrote this for you. Yeah. And I would include like connection opportunities. Hey, do you want to come on for a dating session on the podcast or the live stream? I would introduce that, keep people posted on the topics and availability. Like here, I really want to connect with you. I want to not just market to you. I want to actually connect and have a content consumer and content creator relationship built up, kind of putting that vibe out there. Because I think in your space, we got to build trust for sure. We got to build know, like, and trust. And the more that we build, like, man, Sai is my person. Like she's the one that I'm going to follow her lead. I'm very comfortable with hiring her. That's the vibe that we want to put out there. Testimonials for sure. Put that in the newsletter. And what I try to do is just kind of go, what is one tangential topic, or it's not just a regurgitation of what I talk about on the episode. It's like a little bit deeper or something that's kind of a nice little side topic that goes with it. If you like this, you like that. an appetizer, but it's not just like, and in today's episode, here are
Yeah.
all the things. And so having a little value add there. With my newsletter, the reason my list has grown and my open rate and click-through rate is so strong is because they know they have to get in there because there's something in there that they won't get anywhere else on my platform.
Yeah.
So
One of the things I just started doing as part of this newsletter is like towards the bottom, it's like, I'm currently loving, and I'll give them like something that they can use. Like last week, I gave them like the perfect red lipstick. I'm like, you need to buy this. It looks good on everyone. Or if you're in a funk, like listen to this song, get date ready. So I'm trying to, like, to your point, build trust outside of like, here's the stuff I sell. Like, no, this is actually going to help you in your dating journey.
Yeah. And even go a few weeks without selling anything, just to kind of like put it out there. I know it's hard to do, but like I'm almost the opposite. If I'm selling something, people are perking up. It's like, man, this guy never pushes anything for sales via email. And then I close pretty good. So yeah, I mean, you could kind of shift gears there a little bit and just kind of, I'm just gonna build trust a little bit here and be your person. And then you just don't want to be that person. Like, I've got friends, good friends, like I've attended their wedding friends, type of friends that I'm like, I know if they send me an email, I ain't opening it because they're just pitching me stuff. Like that's all it is. I tell them too. I'm like, listen, I don't open your email because all you do is sell stuff to me. I don't, I know what you got cooking.
Yeah.
So.
Cool.
They don't like it when I talk to them like that, by the way. But I'm just straight up. I'm a good friend, straight up.
Love it.
Yeah. We don't want to be that person, but I think so. Focus points. I'm looking at organic discoverability. I think tweaking title extensions, really digging in with your audience and going, all right, what are you really searching for? And being like constantly top of mind, building that keyword bank and going, all right, we got to make sure we're reviewing this every 90 days. I think that's going to be a action step that'll definitely move the needle. I love the coaching episode idea. I think that's just going to grow and grow and grow. And I think that's going to be, the more of those you do, the more results you will see. And I'll challenge you. I challenge all my clients, get 25 to 50 of those in your RSS feed and watch the magic happen. It may happen with 4. It may happen with 12. I got clients that start closing within 4 of them. But for me, it was like 25, 26. And then people started coming in, signing up for a coaching episode going, I've listened to 20 of these already. Like, this is great. And then that's just kind of a formality. They're not wondering if we should work together. It's which offer should I do? Like, what's the best way to work together? And that's when with you, especially, it's going to automatically build that trust factor that we talked about. And I think it's going to really work well for you. And it's going to be cool content. And then Instagram live stream. I think that's another really good idea to show off what you do, community build, refer back to the episode. It's an easy way to name drop your episode and pull in new listeners. Like, wow, like people going from 4 different directions, email list builder, although it's, just a few at a time, but it's still a great community engagement product. Cool.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you so much.
All right, Sai, it's your time to shout out here. So shout out your podcast, website, social media, wherever people need to go to connect with you.
Awesome. So the name of my podcast is Dating Done Right. You can find me over on Instagram at Sai the Love Coach, and my website is www.saithelovecoach.com. I'll see you there.
All right, Pod Pals, go and support Sai the Love Coach. She's got great things going. I'm telling you, you'll be impressed with her platform. And so just go. Just trust me. And if you all want to do a podcast audit just like Sai the Love Coach, hop on over to my website, www.podcastingbusiness.school. Click on the freebie button. You'll see it. It's right there. Podcast audit. Get on the calendar and we can jam out. All right, Pod Pals, I appreciate you for supporting the show. With that, I'm going to send you into the world, wishing you health, happiness, and many downloads. We'll see you next time. Are you a frustrated podcaster that is ready to stop hearing crickets and start making money with your show, even if you have a small audience? If you answered yes, then I want to connect with you for a free podcast profit potential discovery call. In this free 20-minute session, I'll analyze where you're currently leaving money on the table when it comes to monetization opportunities for selling more of your own programs, products, and services. If you are a service provider, a coach, or an online program creator looking to use your podcast to generate more sales, the Podcast Profit Potential Discovery Call is for you. Hop on my calendar today by going to www.podcastingbusiness.school.